Hello, friends. Happy Saturday and happy National Coming Out Day. Today is October 11th, which is National Coming Out Day in the United States and also a number of other countries as well, which is super fun. And just fun coincidence that it fell on the same day as my live stream today. So excited to join y'all today. I am just arranging some things on my screen. All right. So today I'm going to be building, or starting to build, the Evolution of STEM, which is an amazing Lego idea set that came out this year. I'm also going to be talking a little bit about Fan Media Days, which I got to experience back in, let's see, I guess it was 3 weeks ago now, 2 weeks ago. So answering any questions you might have from that and talking a little bit about our experience there too. And then also talking about National Coming Out Day, which is fun. So hi, thanks, Duck. Yeah, it's good to be back. We came back to a house that our air conditioning wasn't working anymore. So that wasn't fun. It was 91 degrees in the house, which 91 degrees Fahrenheit equates to somewhere around 35 degrees Celsius. So it was really hot. Took 2 days to get that fixed. And then, hi, Maya. Good morning to you as well. Took a couple days to get that fixed. And then, yeah, true Texas nightmare for sure. And then I got COVID. So that's not been fun. I was isolating from Philip at home. He was healthy for a number of days, and then he finally tested positive for COVID earlier this week too. So we are both still kind of recovering, although I'm closer to being out of it than he is. Although this morning it seems like he's doing pretty well. But yeah, so it's been a little bit rough coming home. But I will say that it was really nice to sleep in our own bed again, to not be living out of suitcases. We were gone September 13th through October 1st, and we got home like 4 p.m. October 1st. We were supposed to get home on the night before at like 10 p.m., but missed our connecting flight. We were supposed to go Billund to Amsterdam, Amsterdam to Boston, Boston to Austin, and we missed the connecting flight because it was an hour and a half delay. Our flight was late getting there, and we only had an hour and 20 minutes to get to that connecting flight, so clearly not okay, which resulted in like a surprise fun day in Amsterdam, which was so cool. Philip and I had been talking about doing a 10-year anniversary trip, and we were debating which international destination we wanted to go. And we decided to go to Denmark, in part because of Fan Media Days and other reasons that we were already going to be there. And we'd already done Denmark, but thought, let's explore more of the country. And we were going to save Amsterdam for another trip. So this was a nice little taster of it as well. So, but thank you. I appreciate the kind words. We will feel fully back to normal soon. You can probably hear my voice. There's still a little bit of like, grossness. So, all right, opening this, we've got, looks like at least 7 bags. Yeah, 7, so that's doable. I don't know if it's all doable during the stream, but we'll get through what we can. We've also got some stickers, so let me show you these. So here's what we've got for stickers. This bottom one here, it's like hard to tell what's on it because the printing is really light, but that's fun. And then, yeah, this was, I think, a pick from Lego Ideas that was specifically one of their activities that they do. So if you're not familiar, Lego Ideas has activities that are related to specific events or months or topics or whatnot. You can submit your designs, and sometimes those designs actually win the prize of getting your set created, which is fun. So, Duck, Maya, anybody else who's joined too, what are you up to this weekend? So we've been debating getting it, so you're excited to see. Oh, fun. Awesome. Well, hopefully this will give you a better insight into whether or not you want to get it. So fan designer, let's see, Daniel Bradley, UK-based. Yeah, he won the fan vote for the 2023 Celebrate the Wonder of STEM. So this is part of their activities. And I think a lot of times people aren't really familiar with how Lego Ideas works. So it's neat to see that there's multiple different ways that you can get things accomplished. So The cool thing too throughout this specific build is you learn about different really cool icons of STEM. And so as it talks about them, as we get to them in the build, I'll share with you the little profiles. So, just a moment. So yeah, feel free to move any of that. So Penny is also not feeling well today. We've been having, and really Philip's been having a very rough morning with her. She is not eating her food like normal. We had to put her on some new medicine recently, and it's been throwing a lot of things off for her. So she's just been kind of having a rough time. And they just came in from outside, and it sounds like didn't have the most comfortable time outside. Hey, girl, want to get up on the couch? Oh, there you go. Oh, that was scary. There you go. Yeah. She's not jumping up on the couch like she normally does. Like sometimes she gets tentative around that anyway, and it's just like random when that happens. So I hopefully she gets to feeling better soon though. So oh my gosh, what? I totally missed Canadian Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, Maya and Jamie and Alex and Tone and all of our Canadian friends. That's really exciting. You're working on a mock before starting dinner tonight. Fun. So I know when it's Canadian Thanksgiving weekend, there's typically a specific date. Is it always on a Monday or a Sunday? I can't remember. In the United States, it's always on a Thursday in November, and it's usually I think it's the last Thursday of the month. I'm not exactly sure how that ends up landing every time, but my brother's birthday often ends up directly on it too. Or it might be the fourth Thursday of the month, and sometimes we have five. I can't quite remember, but that's exciting. Happy Thanksgiving. And you're surprising your mom tomorrow by flying to Vegas to see Wizard of Oz at the Sphere. Okay, obviously, huge fan of all things Wicked and Wizard of Oz and everything. That's so fun. They're just going for the day from San Diego, and your boyfriend, you are going to just show up. Oh, I love that. What a fun surprise. Yeah, our best friend Marianne, she's also Penny's aunt, so she took care of Penny while we were gone for part of the trip. She went to see Wizard of Oz at the Sphere as well and had a wonderful time. She actually saw the premiere, the opening, which would be so cool. So all right, we'll dive in and I'll share a little bit about this character, and then I'll continue chatting a little bit about some of our fun with our trip and National Coming Out Day. So this says George Washington Carver, which, fun fact, there is the Carver Museum here in Austin, Texas, that focuses on and celebrates the incredible work of this incredible inventor. And he's done wonderful things for the Black community as well as for science in general. So we get him, which is fun. Hi! George Washington Carver, 1864 to 1943, is an American National Inventor Hall of Fame inductee. The world-famous chemist, agriculturalist, and humanitarian lived by the words, "It is simply service that measures success." Love that so much. It is simply service that measures success. That's really cool. So he's the first one that we get, which I love since we have the Carver Museum here. And he comes with, it looks like peanuts. Yep. And a little watering can that is made out of a mug. So this is fun. Let's see. I've got that upside down. Here we go. So here's what he holds. So there's a little peanut print, which was, I think, new for this set. And then the little type of like watering can type mug too. So yay, so cool. Hi, Molly. Hello from Denmark. Just finished preparing pizza dough for family dinner and then hopefully building my Happy Plant set. Yay, good stuff. I love that so much. The Happy Plant set we got a couple copies of as well. And I'm excited to build it too. It's so cute and so fun. And I've been wanting to take it and figure out some different like hairstyles by doing different plants in the top. So we'll see. I think I would love this set because I love when little facts and notes are included in the instructions. Totally agree. That's one of my favorite things is as you're going through when they add those little details in. I feel like that's something that it's someone's job to have to do. Like it actually takes time and intention. So really fun when they put some time and intention into it. So our trip was amazing. We spent the first week truly celebrating 10 years of marriage, which is so fun. So Philip and I went all over Denmark. We started in Copenhagen. Spent, I don't know, 4 days there. We were going to do another day trip off to see another castle, but ultimately ended up deciding not to because there's so much to do in Copenhagen. And even though we'd been there before, it was still like there's plenty more to do. So we decided let's not rush around too much and get on another train to go somewhere, because we stayed in 4 or 5, I think 5 different hotels and Airbnbs across the whole stay. So it was pretty chaotic and busy, and we didn't want it to be too much. But started in Copenhagen, had a wonderful time, ate incredible food. One of the things I miss the most already from our trip is pastries. There are so many amazing Danish pastries everywhere, and we had bread with cheese for every meal, and like that's like nothing could be better. And so yeah, loved it. We had a wonderful time. Then the next few days we went to Aarhus, which is Aarhus. I think it's pronounced Aarhus officially. And that was a lot of fun. It's another really cool city. It's a little bit more like college age friendly. Lots of college age students, because there's a university there that takes up a lot of like not space, but like a lot of it kind of influences a lot of the culture there. Amazing art. There's this incredible gallery, not gallery, what do you call it? Art museum there called Aros, Aros. And at the very top, it had this rainbow gradient window thing where you could walk around, and looking out the window, the colors changed as you walked around. So you were looking at all of Aarhus, but through the lens of all of these beautiful colors, which is really, really cool. So yeah. Your first modular was the boutique hotel, and it has notes like how the art in the store is painted by the artist in a different set. And I was like, wait, there's modular lore? And I was hooked. Yes, that's one of the things I love most about the modular buildings. The designers who work on them basically continue to build out the story piece by piece. Really, really cool. And so they get the opportunity to add to the story as they're building something new, which is really fun. And so if you collect lots of modulars, then you can also kind of imagine that whole story happening in your house, which is just really fun. So really, really cool. This is also an interesting Technic piece. Like I've seen it before, I've used it before, but just don't have as many of them. So yeah, and then the Rainbow Walk, it was so cool. It really was. It was beautiful. I was glad to take a little video of it and kind of show people this is what we just got to experience. Come experience it with us. And that's one of my favorite things about travel, is getting to experience things that are brand new for us, and then also getting to share that with other people. I think it's fun to just kind of be like, hey, we've got, you're on the vacation with us too, which is kind of fun. Hi, neighbor. How's it going? We are building out the Evolution of STEM set today. So working on just the first part. And with these types of sets where there's Technic involved, it's really important, of course, to get all of the Technic lined up perfectly. It should be obvious to people, but I like to point this out because it's helpful. When you're doing sets where there's like a little section that you have to have things spaced a certain way, they typically lay it out where you can actually put your pieces directly on top and measure to match up and make sure that it's correct. That was very important when doing the grand piano, because the inside of that is ridiculously complicated. And so the only way to get it to work the way that it's supposed to is to make sure that every single thing is perfectly lined up. I did when I first built it. And then, of course, over time, it kind of moves around as things, as you use it. And so now it's off a little bit, and the piano keys don't want to play anymore. So I need to take it apart and redo it, which is going to be a little bit of a pain. And it's just going to be a time investment. So eventually I'll get around to it, but we'll see. So we heard a little bit about what some of your weekends are and what you're doing. If you haven't chimed in yet, what are you up to this weekend? We are just recovering from COVID, so hopefully we'll be better soon. Honestly, I think I tested positive, I want to say it was last Friday, so it's been over a week now. And while I do have a little bit of stuffiness still, I haven't had a fever for a long time, like multiple days, and my coughing has gone down and everything. So I'm feeling much better, better enough to be able to do the live stream. I waited until the last minute to promote it because Just wasn't sure if I was going to be up for it. And I'm glad I did because it's always fun and it's good to see y'all. So yeah, the trip was incredible. Those are the first week, and then after that week, we went to Billund. So Billund is a tiny, tiny little town that is the home of Lego. So we went to Lego's headquarters. That's when I got to go to Fan Media Days. Philip enjoyed exploring more of Denmark, which was fun. So he had some solo trips and hung out with some friends that were also there early for Scareback Fan Weekend, which I'll talk about in a minute. So some of our friends came in early for that. And he had a lot of fun exploring while I was at Fan Media Days. Fan Media Days is when Lego brings a number of ambassadors. There were about 30 of us, I think. And for context, I want to say there's like 115 or 120 in the world. So people from all over the globe got a chance to go, which was really, really cool. And we got to see and explore some different areas like the Lego campus and the Lego house and the Lego Ideas house. So there's different pieces. There's something called the Lego Inside Tour that you have to apply. You have to submit your name and get your name picked from a drawing to get to go on. So that wasn't the Inside Tour. A lot of people confuse it because there's parts of the Inside Tour that are included, but we didn't get all that exact same stuff. We got like bits and pieces of that. But the goal of it and the primary focus of it is to allow Lego fan media, are often kind of referred to as Lego ambassadors, although there's a lot of people who have that same title. We got to see some new products, which was really cool. So you can see on the screen, Duck asked, did you get any exclusive sets while you were there? So I did get some exclusive sets, and I also got to see some really cool sets that are coming out next year. I can't talk about anything we saw until, so every product has an embargo date, and that means the day that Lego allows us to share about them. But the cool thing was we saw, I don't know, 30, 40 new sets that are coming out in 2026 or over the next 9 months. Some of them are stuff that are coming out now. So the first one that we finally were able to share was actually able to be shared, I think, yesterday, or maybe it was the day before. I can't remember. But it was the Batman stuff. And y'all, that was such a fun presentation. The team that designed the Batman sets also designed the or worked with the people who designed the game, the new Batman game. And so we got to play the game, which was really cool. We got to spend like 5 to 10 minutes each playing for a little bit, which is only enough of a taster to get you hooked on it for sure. But that was so fun and so neat. And then we got to see the sets that are associated. So there's some really, really cool sets. I shared shorts, YouTube shorts, as well as shared it on Instagram and on TikTok, where you can see a preview of what those sets look like. So definitely check those out if you're interested in Batman. They're really cool, and they're connected to gameplay, which is really fun. So one of the things that was neat about it is if you buy the sets, then you get a code that you can unlock in the gameplay. And for 3 of them, there are 3 different Batmobiles, and the Batmobiles are directly from the movies as well as directly in the video game. But if you download the code, then you get a solid gold version to play in the game. So the designers also built solid gold versions of each of those cars, which was so cool. They are not for sale. They never will be for sale. That was sad. But it was so neat to see that they spent the time sourcing all the parts and making it so that they could actually share those in a way that's promoting the really cool things for that. And then the other product that I'm most excited for, to be honest, is the Batman 1989 bat symbol. And while it's the 1989 bat symbol, it has references across all of the eras of Batman, which is really cool. So that was one of the things. There's plenty more to come across multiple different genres of Lego themes. And I cannot wait to share more with you. It was just really, really cool. So yeah, so we got to do some of those really fun things. We got to experience some stuff like at the Lego house, they let us do a sample version of the new Lego Masters Academy, which, having been on the show, that was so cool to get to experience. It was really, really fun, and it was neat to see how they replicated it as best as they could to make sure that the experience was similar for people going through it as well. I'll come back to your question about exclusive sets, and if I don't, please remind me about that too. But yeah. that was really neat. The Lego Masters experience in particular was super fun. And my favorite part of it was later on in the week after fan media days were over, is when a full day at the Lego house happens. So that happens once a year, and it's where they close down the Lego house only for AFOLs. You have to get your ticket in advance to go, and the people who get to go get to have some unique experiences. And part of it was they let everyone experience the Lego Masters Academy. And my husband was there, and so he got to experience it too, which was awesome. I got to go with him for our time, which was really fun. So even though he couldn't be on the show with me, it was really neat that he got to experience it, which was cool. And neat that we got to experience that together. Okay, so this part of the build just slides effortlessly up and down. And that's going in here. And so that will be able to move up and down as this thing twists. So remember that weird yellow piece. When it twists, sometimes it's down and then sometimes it's up. It's hard to show you without like a hand twist crank, but that's going to push this up and down. So fun little piece there. Let's get that on. And I'm just going to double check my work because when I'm talking, sometimes I can get off with some things. Looks like I'm doing okay though. So yeah, so really, really cool. I'm excited for y'all to see some of the other reviews. These things happen, and I've tried turning it off and it doesn't ever turn off. So 1989 bat dust magnet. Yes. Especially being that it's fully greebled. It's beautiful, but yes, it will be covered in it will be covered in what do you call it? Dust, for sure. So neighbors here, hi. I got Lego Wicked Emerald City and Lego Wicked Glinda and Alphabet. Thanks for your videos. Yay! First off, you have been so kind in the comments, and I really appreciate that you've shared some nice thoughts and things. It means a lot to me to know when people are enjoying the videos and what it is about them that they're enjoying. So any type of feedback, as well as constructive criticism, is always welcome. I do this for the fun of it, but also, as a Lego ambassador, I want to make sure that what I'm sharing is stuff that's helpful for you. And so if there's other things that you think would be helpful, I'd love to hear it. But love to hear that you got those sets. They are, well, Glenda and Alphabet is in the other room because it wouldn't fit up there. But Philip did a really beautiful job up here with all of our sets up above. This one is the only one that's not officially Wicked, but I think everything else up there is Wicked. And then, of course, the Funko Pop that are up there too. Emerald City is right there. Really, really cool. But other really good ones. So yay. Hi, Austin. Good to see you. Yeah, I know. I thought that was funny, the dust magnet. So have a great day. Good to see you. And yeah, maybe I'll see you soon at text link meetings. Yeah, the new Batman game was awesome. So let me go back. There was a question. Oh, actually, I'll shift to this. You also did a scary movie last night, and you watched Death of Unicorn. It was a pretty fun movie. Philip watched that on the flight. It didn't look like one that I would enjoy, so I skipped it. But he seemed to enjoy it. I'm not too big of a scary movie fan, although Philip somehow convinced me last year. And by that I mean I said, hey, let's watch this. So it wasn't that much convincing. But we watched Scream 1, 2, and 3 last year. So short story there. I don't like being scared. I don't like scary movies. I don't understand why people enjoy being afraid. To me, it's just like, why put yourself through that? And when I was in middle school, Scream came out. So if you didn't know my age, that may give you a sense of my age. And I remember watching it at a friend's house from school that I was trying to impress. I wanted him to think I was cool, but I didn't want to watch the movie, but I didn't want to tell him that because I was embarrassed, as a lot of middle schoolers are. And so I watched it, and I had nightmares for years because of it, because those things stick with me so much. And so, I did not love the experience, and I had kind of a angry feeling around the movie Scream in general. I also went to a slumber party in high school where that was watched again, and I was trying to be cool again, so I just didn't There were plenty of other things I could have done at the house, but instead I sat in the room and loosely watched it and tried to distract my brain so I wasn't like actually paying attention. But it really freaked me out, and I did not like it at all. Now, as a grown adult, I feel a little bit differently, especially because we watch a lot of like suspenseful movies and things. And like, I don't know, maybe my tolerance for some of that is up a little bit. But last year I told Philip, okay, let's watch Scream. I think I can handle it. And I think maybe that'll help me have better memories of it and just kind of move past that. And after watching the first one, I was like, well, now we have to watch the others. So we watched 1, 2, and 3. And I didn't love them, but I didn't hate them. It wasn't too bad. And after it was over, I was like, well, we've done the trilogy. I'm done. I don't need any more. And Philip was like, next year, we're going to get you to continue. I was like, no, I don't know. Maybe we're good. And of course, last night we decided to continue. So we watched Scream 4. And honestly, now they don't faze me in the same way. I will say that like after watching it last night, I took Penny outside to go to the bathroom before bed. And I definitely was a little creeped out and was like, yeah, like someone could be in our backyard. And then I was like, no one is in our backyard and it's fine. So it still affects me in ways that I just don't love so much. But, you know, at the same time, it's not too terrible. And I don't know, to some degree, it was enjoyable. So I guess I kind of liked it. I don't like psychological thrillers, and I don't like ones that are like really. Well, I just don't like being scared in general. So anything that can scare me, just not a huge fan of. Okay, yay! So now we've got this twisting mechanism, and you can see this part is twisting. Oops. Uh-oh. And then you can also see the lever that I was just telling you about. This one here is going up and down. There we go. So this little thing is making 2 different things move, which is fun. Now these parts are wanting to fall off, so I need to figure out what's going on there. But I'm guessing in just a minute I'm going to attach something that'll help keep them down. All right, cool. You're not a scary movie fan normally either, but your boyfriend loves them. Yeah, my husband loves them, which I do not. Bye, neighbor. Have a good one. Good to see you. Thanks for joining for a little bit. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's something that Philip feels is lots of joy around getting scared, and I don't know. Halloween is his favorite for those reasons, and like basically during that time of the month or time of the year, I just tell him like, you go watch your movies and I'll go build in the other room. And he'll often watch them with headphones on, or I'll build with headphones on so I don't have to hear all the gross screaming and groans and stabbing and whatever noises are coming in from the other room. If that were like real life, that would be terrifying. Also, like, I'm glad that that's just like, it's just a movie. I'm glad that that's, I don't know, whatever. Anyhow, so yeah. So we also had a scary movie night last night. I watched that. Okay, you asked what exclusive sets we got. So at the Lego house, there are exclusive sets that you can only get there. Hence the name exclusive, of course. And we got a number of them. I want to say that we got 5 Lego ideas or Lego house sets. We got the dinosaurs, which are from the Masterpiece Gallery. We got the Tree of Creativity, which we passed on in 2018 and should have just gotten then. So we were like, we have to get it now that we're here, and it'll eventually retire, I think. We got the Dagny Holmes one. So Dagny Holmes is an incredible woman who was a lead designer behind, I want to say, a lot of the Legoland attractions and things. She might have been the first certified builder. Okay, real quick pause. Here's the end of bag 1. We have that mechanism that goes up and down and that spins here, and some things that are going to attach some of the pieces. So let's dive into bag 2. So those 3 sets, we got the pirate, the upscaled pirate set, and we got the duck. So yeah, duck, we got the duck. So yeah, so we've got a lot of fun builds to build, which is cool. We passed on the Fabuland set in part because our luggage was completely full, was over full. That made coming home quite a mess. And then also the other one that they had was the Lego house that they already had. So I think I think we got almost all of the ones we could have, though, which was a little wild. And then, yeah, I think everything else that we got were things that like were already available elsewhere too. So, my friends did a scary movie night one night, and I just baked pies in the kitchen. I would join you in the kitchen, and also I want one of your pies. What do you bake pies often? And if so, what kind of flavors do you like to do? Also, Duck, where are you in the world? I don't know that I know that, or maybe I do and I forgot, which is quite possible. Anyone who knows me knows that my memory is not the best with recent things. So I weirdly have a very strong memory of like very specific details from things in my past, long distant past. But for some reason, my memory for like recent stuff is not so swell. So, hello, how's it going? The Chaos Terminal, good stuff. Good morning to you as well. We are building the Evolution of STEM set, and so I just got to bag 2 and working on that one. I'm talking a little bit about my experience with Lego Fan Media Days a couple weeks ago, and about National Coming Out Day, which we haven't talked about yet. So today is officially National Coming Out Day. For those who don't know, it was started in 1988, and they chose the day of October 11th because it matches up with the day of the National March on Washington. So that was had historic significance. And then, and also fun that I'm building a rainbow gradient as we're talking about National Coming Out Day. And it is a day to recognize and celebrate and support people who are a part of the LGBTQ community, encouraging them to, if they feel safe and comfortable and able to come out and share their lives with people. Recognizing that the more that people get to experience people from different backgrounds and whatnot, the less scary it feels for people, and the better we can move towards a world full of acceptance and support. So National Coming Out Day is very important to me. As a part of the queer community, my coming out experience is something that it's interesting that when you're talking to others in the queer community, you can learn about their experiences too, and see that oftentimes there's a lot of similarities, and also there's a lot of differences. We all experience life in our own ways, and so it's important to see and recognize and hear people's stories, and also learn from each other's stories, so that we can also move towards a world where people are more supportive and more loving and kind to each other as well. So important day in our house. We always celebrate, and for us, a lot of times it's like just talking with each other about like our coming out experiences and stories, and also it's just thinking through how much the world has changed, sometimes in really good ways, sometimes in not so good ways, and what is it that we can do to help push towards a more supportive world. Okay, that was really fun. This is a beautiful gradient. And this says, this representation of the optical light spectrum shows colors ranging from ultraviolet to infrared, although the human eye can only see a portion of this. That is really interesting, really fun. That's fun. You love to bake. You like classic apple. You made a caramel apple cheesecake last night. Okay, that sounds incredible. Also, you are just up the road? That is really cool. Are you a part of our lug and I didn't know this? Because if so, I'm embarrassed. Hi, Dan. Good to see you. So one of my favorite things about Fan Media Days was getting to spend so much time with my good buddy Dan. I love, love, love Dan. So Simon and Dan are two gay AFOLs online. Dan is often the voice that you hear when you see like responses from their account and whatnot, because he tends to be a little bit more of the person running the account behind the scenes, but the two of them run it together. And we love them so much. Philip and I had a chance to go to dinner with them last year during our trip that we were in London for work, which is super fun. And also last year around the same time, I think it was maybe like a month ago before or so, we did a double date on YouTube where we built the, what do you call it? The Glendon Alphabet Dollies set, which is really fun. So, how are you? Are you still in Spain? Right after Fan Media Days, they went to Spain, which was really fun. So to visit Simon's family. Um, Yay, fun. Okay. So yeah, beautiful gradient. Molly says, I love that color spectrum and perfect for today. I know, right? Like how cool. And I love that this is just like one of those hidden details. So this whole set is full of things that are related to STEM. So really, really cool how they incorporate them in different ways. Okay, I'm getting to a point where I need to start building on the table and not holding it. I have a bad habit of like building things in my hands, and it's in part because in our Lego room, the height of the counter that has all of our drawers with all the Legos sorted in them is perfect height for me to stand by and build. But that means that I'm usually like holding on to things while I build as opposed to using a tabletop. Which also means that if you drop it, or if you like accidentally hold it the wrong way or too tightly or whatever, things can fall apart in your hands and pieces can go everywhere. So, so there's that. Okay, let's see. Yay. Awesome. You've been back to work all week. Oh, bummer. Miss you too, Dan. So we had so much fun. It was great. So first off, Dan had been to Fan Media Days before last year. So he was a pro and was so kind to help me prepare for like, what is it that I need to bring and how do I prepare for the interviews that we do with set designers and like, what do you do with that content afterward and how does that work and all these different things. He was super, super kind to walk me through and shepherd me through and just make sure that I was taken care of, which was fun. And then while we were there, we ate lunch together many times and hung out, and it was just a joy. And then afterward, we all went to Scareback Fan Weekend. And so I got to spend so much time with him, which was great. And it was neat that like he also got to get to know my partner from Lego Masters, John, because John went as well for Scareback Fan Weekend. And they ended up staying in the same cabin. And so they got to know each other, which is cool. I love it when my people meet. So, yay. And I love when people say hi to each other in the chat. Hey, Molly. Hey, Dan. So fun. And then you said you just went to your first event a few weeks ago. Yay, it was cool. Oh my gosh. Okay, so you went to Austin Beer Works. So Philip and I were supposed to go and display. And then, of course, this trip to Denmark changed everything. And we had to be like, hey, Ben, sorry, but we're not going to be able to go. See you when we're home. So we displayed last year and had so much fun at that Austin Beer Works event. But yeah, so happy to hear that you're involved because that means that we'll see each other IRL. It's always fun to get to meet people in person. So looking forward to that. And also, you should make sure that you get a ticket to Brick Rodeo. For sure. That is so much fun. Brick Rodeo is our convention that happens here. This year it'll be in Austin. Actually, technically, it'll be in Round Rock. So right up the road, right around the corner for you. Or right where you live, rather. But incredible opportunity to see artwork from around the world where people come in and display their amazing Lego pieces. So excited to meet you soon in person at an event, Doug. That's really cool. And fun that like, I love when you meet people through the internet and then you meet them in real life and it's like, oh my gosh, I feel like I know you already. Because you do. Our world is so interesting that way. One of the things, like it's both a blessing and a curse, but I love the fact that we get to connect with and develop a global relationship with people all around. One thing that I think happens in that environment too is that sometimes people take the lens of the place that they grew up in and the place they're most familiar with, and they try to apply that lens to the way that they expect other people to behave and speak and understand and all these different things. So, so for example, if your experience is that, you know, people tend to say one thing, well, here, let me give a very specific example. In the queer community in the United States, a lot of people have adopted the use of the word queer as an overarching kind of umbrella term. Not everyone. Not every American believes that. And also not every person around the globe believes that. In other countries, they may not even use LGBTQ. They may use LGBTQIA. They may use, sometimes you'll hear 2S. added on as well. So there's all different acronyms and different things and different ways that we talk about the queer community. But what people often don't remember when they're speaking to people in a global context is your lens of how you view the world and what you experience with the world is unique to you, and is not the same as other people in other countries. And oftentimes they have vastly different experiences. And so it can be easy for people to run into headbutting and getting frustrated because they're not saying the right things or doing the right things, or they don't know this or whatever. And that's just a misunderstanding. That's easy to do when we're in these global contexts. So I think that's when I said it's a blessing and a curse. It's not really a curse. But one thing I wish that we could do is ensure that everyone around the globe had a chance to go through some global cultural competency to where they learn how to communicate with people better across different geographical boundaries, because I think that would make our conversations more civil online. Okay, rant over. Anyhow, so one of the cool things was getting to go to this convention where there were people from all over the world, many that we've been friends with for years, and finally get to meet them in person. So a Scareback is arguably the most internationally attended event of the Lego conventions, and so it was for us, it was the first time to meet a lot of people that we'd never met before, which is really cool. So, but that we knew online, and then also we met a ton of friends too that we'd never met before. The other thing that was really cool, I got to be on an International Lego Masters panel. And I was representing the Lego Masters Fox, which is the US and Canada version. And it was really neat because there were 9 other people on the panel from 9 other versions of the show in 9 other countries. And that was just really, really cool. So we got to hear the similarities and differences in the ways that our countries do Lego Masters. And it felt like every other person I was meeting all weekend long was like, oh, I was on Lego Masters too, because there's, I want to say 800 something people who've been on the show around the globe. Maybe I've got that number wrong. I'll have to double check, but it's a lot, which is really cool. So yeah, yay, fun. Okay, Maya asks, so how do you think the Lego Masters Academy compared to being on stage for the show? And for those who don't know, Maya is a dear friend of mine from my season of Lego Masters and her season of Lego Masters. We were on it together this summer. If you're in the United States, please watch it. You can catch up on it on Hulu, which is fun. All the episodes are there. And hopefully if you're outside the US, you'll get a chance to see it too. So dear, dear friend Maya, who I wish was there with me, I would say that it didn't compare. It was a very different experience, but it was really cool. So they replicated the feeling and the vibes of it, but they removed the competitive nature. And I think that was really good for what they're trying to do here at Lego House. Their whole goal is learning and growth and development. And so the point is for people to come in and learn something new. So you're not competing against everybody else to see whose build is the best, but rather you're all in this collaborative environment that's all about teaching you to up level your skills so that you could compete in the future, which is really fun. So, but the vibe, the feel, all of it felt very similar. And I will say that like when the time clock was on and there was only 15 minutes to do our build at the end, there were elements of like PTSD stress coming through of like, oh my gosh, I do remember this feeling of like competing against the clock. So it was really fun and really special. They've done a very good job. Okay, quick note. Here is what I just built. So this is opposite side of the color gradient that we just saw. And this says in 1836, Samuel Morse invented Morse code, which allowed long and short beats to be transmitted via wires or written as dots and dashes. Can you tell what this message says? And the message would go from here over. So I think that's an S. Because SOS is 3 short dots, 3 long dots, 3 short dots. So the first one is an S. I don't know what the other ones are. So if anybody wants to do some quick research and figure out what this says, it'd be really fun to find out. Yay. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I love that Duck just said this. This makes me so happy. So Maya meet Duck, Duck meet Maya. I'm not sure if you know each other, but you should. Maya also has a thriving YouTube, which is really cool. She does incredible builds and like some kind of behind the scenes action as she's going through them, which is really fun. Sometimes it's like time-lapse style and whatnot. And she's also a Lego ambassador as well. Oh, that would make sense. It's STEM. Yeah, STEM. So yeah, thank you, Maya. So STEM. this way. S STEM. STEM. That would make perfect sense that it's in the STEM set. So thank you for doing the research for us. But yes, so Maya is a fun person, a delightful human, and also a great YouTuber. So you should definitely follow her, MB Bricks. And then also a Lego ambassador with me, which is fun. And what you just said about you loved her pineapple on pizza build. The coolest thing is that build was during the episode where she and I were going head to head, which was so much fun. Honestly, of all the teams to go head to head against, it was like the perfect combination. We had so much fun. And what I loved is that the show knew, like, John is very competitive. I am competitive as well, but just kind of in my own way and not necessarily externally towards other people. I'm very competitive with myself and want to always improve on what I did last time, type thing. But I think just my competition, it just doesn't come out in the same type of way, or my competitive spirit doesn't. And so pairing us with the Canadians that were the Canadian team that was left in the competition at the time was so fun because Will Arnett had us do a compliment off instead of like bashing each other. And it was just like silly and stupid and fun and cute. And yeah, I just loved getting to do that with my and Jamie. So, and Jamie wasn't feeling so swell that time too. So, oh, I love to hear that was your favorite of the season. It was super, super cute. So one fun fact as well, and I'm sharing this just because I've seen Maya share this already before. Otherwise, I wouldn't share it. But her dad, Jamie, who was her build partner, was actually sick for a lot of that episode and wasn't able to build for a lot of it. And so much of that build was truthfully Maya knocking it out of the park on her own. I was really concerned for her. John and I both were. We were like, this, we want to make sure that she's okay and that he's okay. Of course, we were all very concerned about Jamie's health. So it was wonderful that Jamie was able to come back towards the end and help build as well. Yeah, like, oh my gosh, yes. And we loved the compliment off. I loved that they also had that as one of the little clips that we could share on social media because I will have it forever in my files, which is so much fun. So the show gave us some assets that we could share in order to help promote, of course, but the compliment off was one of them, which was really fun. So yeah, so it was wonderful to get to build alongside Maya the whole season in general. Maya's also a friendship. I would say our whole season, everybody became good friends, which is nice. But Maya's one that I just really feel like I'm so grateful that we still stay in. I mean, we stay in touch with everybody from the show. I haven't really lost touch with anybody, but I'm so grateful that that's a friendship that came out of this too. It's been wonderful. And Jamie has been building in my weekly build challenges just about every single week of the year, which has been so fun too. So that's done over at Instagram if you haven't seen it. There's a prompt every Wednesday, and you can build along with a prompt that comes from a fun little Lego calendar. And yeah, would love to have you join. Our friend Molly, who's on this chat, also just joined, which is fun. So yeah, your dad was out except for 1 hour of challenge. I was so glad that he was able to return to the show after that, and for the end of that episode, because that this experience was like as good as it could be. And so he set up all of these incredible watch parties for us every week and just made it into a big event and really celebrated the whole season. He made memes for everybody in the season, and it was just wonderful with everybody there. And so at our watch party, I was like, I want everyone to know how amazing it was to me that Maya built so much of that build almost completely by herself without the help of her dad. And not because he didn't want to help, of course not, it was because he was sick. And just like that was so impressive, and so what she came up with was amazing. So yay, Maya. Yeah, the other fun thing about that build, so that while she was building the pineapple on pizza, which was just so silly and fun, I was building with John our 3 robots that were navigating a little kind of workspace thing, trying to get a battery for their friend who fell asleep. And those little robots I loved so much and was like, oh, I would love to be able to take one of these home. But of course, the show doesn't let us keep anything. Come to find out later, one of the producers sent me an email or sent me a text, sent John and I a text later and said, hey, look who's here on my desk space. And when he left the show, and they were tearing things down, he grabbed one of the robots and kept it. So it's going to live on forever in his desk, which is so sweet. And then he told us too that the rest of the people on the challenge team, which are the people behind the scenes who like help make sure the challenges work, they fought over the other two robots, which was just like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. They live on. So, okay, I want to show you. Here's where we're at now. So we had that rainbow gradient here, and then this side that has the stem, and then we're making these like book pages. And this is an interesting part that I haven't seen before in a set. It's got that like long curve, and there's 3 of them on here, so you can see they're wide, but those are going to cover up those beautiful details. So before it's covered, I wanted you to see, and I think it's designed so that you can easily remove it to show off those details to people as well. But we're essentially making a book, like an open book, which is really cool. So you're the sweetest. Honor to build against you in the challenge. Your robots were absolutely the cutest. Thank you so much. This is what I mean by we all became good friends and everybody was kind and wonderful and great. It's so true. Like everyone wanted to see everyone else succeed. Of course, we all wanted to stay in as long as possible and win. That's the goal of the show. So it makes sense that you should have some level of competitive nature to you, right? But no one wanted to beat other people in a way that like their build was completely falling apart. Like no one wanted to see anybody just like crumble. Everyone wanted to see everyone do their absolute best. And watching people go home week by week was the hardest part of the show, because you really form these incredible relationships with people, and it gets really sad to see them leave. Like and they literally left. Like what would happen is we would say goodbye to them at the end of the episode. They would be whisked away into an interview room to capture their raw emotions of what it feels like to be going home that day. And then they would go back to the hotel separate from all of us. And we would eventually see them in the hotel, typically that evening. But then the next day, you jump straight into the next challenge while they would do some wrap-up tasks and head home. And so we got very, very little goodbye with each other, which was like a really hard part of the experience. But formed incredible relationships, incredible friendships. And I would say definitely if you ever have a chance to go on any type of show like that, I highly encourage it. Obviously, every show is going to have its own vibe and feel. But Lego Masters in particular, they care about the people that are on the show, and they want to make sure that it's a good experience for you. And I feel like the relationships you form are really, truly genuine and wonderful. So at least that was our experience. And I'm speaking on behalf of Maya as well, but I feel like that's true too. So yeah. Molly says, I loved last week's challenge. Oh, yay for the build challenge. Building with the eyes closed. I'm new to creating with Lego, working on this week's challenge. Yay. So Molly's talking about the build challenge I mentioned on Instagram. So there is a calendar that Lego put out called Lego Fun Every Day. Back in 2023, they put one out that had a prompt for every single day of the year. And Saturdays and Sundays, there was one prompt for the weekends. So there were 6 prompts a week. And I built every single one of them, which I did not think I would actually get through, but I did that year. That was also the year that I went on Lego Masters. And so I actually built 8 weeks of builds in advance of going to the show, so that people wouldn't pick up on the fact that I was missing, because we weren't allowed to tell people that we were filming. And people had grown to see me post daily about these builds. And so I needed to make sure that I had all that content ready. So that meant I built 311 or 313, I can't remember, but a huge number of builds all in one year. And then 2024, thankfully, they didn't produce the calendar again because I was exhausted. But in 2025, they've got one that has a weekly prompt. And so I've been doing the weekly prompts, and I decided to make it into a community building experience. And so I've been encouraging people to build along with us every week, and I share their posts to my stories. And this week's prompt is to take minifig parts, the legs, the head, and the torso, and use them in a unique way. So very vague, not a lot of direction, which is fun. And I love that. It kind of gets you to think about pieces in a way that maybe you haven't thought about before. So if anybody wants to join, you can do that today, which is a lot of fun. So yeah, and also I love this so much. So you can see Maya's response to what I just said about like filming those 8 weeks of builds. Maya says, haha, I filmed so much content before I left, I couldn't miss a beat without uploads, right? Totally true. So when you're a content creator and people expect to see your stuff all the time, and when they know that you might be auditioning for a television show that they enjoy, potentially, you have to be thoughtful about what are you going to do while you're gone, and how are you going to kind of not let people tip off to the fact that you're all of a sudden missing in action. So the fun thing is, Maya and myself are the two content creators of our season that, like, before our season was going, we're regularly producing content all the time, in a way that people would notice if we disappeared. The other one is Marcella too, but hers wasn't Lego content. Hers at the time was, she does Build with Marcella and Watch with Marcella. And her Watch with Marcella is like watching shows and getting live reactions and stuff to it, and movies and things, which is super fun. And so, so you just have to think about your experience a little bit differently when that's how you live life. And I love that we kind of shared a little bit of that experience. I know in past seasons, there were content creators too who, like, there was one who set up their hotel room as if it was their home and tried to like pretend like they were just filming content at home like normal, because the NDA is scary. They really try to scare you into making sure you don't tell anybody. And then we had to keep that secret for a year and a half, which is so mean. So I'm glad that we can finally talk about it and share all the fun little details behind the scenes. Okay, done with bag 2. Y'all, the book has come together. This is so cool. So it'll be an open book, and I like how the pages lay. I'm twisting that, and you can see that going up and down. And then in the front, you can see the clear piece spinning in the middle. So those are those fun little details that are set up in the book. I'm going to start book bag 3. It is 11:30. So you know what? I'm actually not going to. I am going to call it a day because I want to get to helping my husband with putting together breakfast, and just want to check in on Penny because I know she was kind of being a little silly, and hopefully she's feeling better and not acting up as much. But want to say thank you for joining. It was good to see y'all, and thank you for chatting in the chat. It was really nice to it's always fun to have people here who were just kind of responding and sharing different things and whatnot too, and meeting each other. So hopefully you met some new friends today. I really appreciate y'all, and once I've got this fully finished, I'll probably do like a little story or something to show people the full details because it's a really, really cool set. So thanks again. Big hugs to everybody, and build kindness. And happy National Coming Out Day. If you know a queer person in your life, or you are a queer person, I encourage you to ask them about their coming out experience. If you feel comfortable and if you have a relationship with them where you're able to, because I think you'll learn a lot about their experience. So if they feel comfortable sharing. All right, big hug, y'all.